Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're taking a look at another buffed Pokemon from the Season 24 balance update for Go Battle League, and that is Shadow Raikou. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, FreezyMad, so many thanks for the battle submission. Shadow Raikou is a pure electric type Pokemon, and it just got access to Aura Sphere. We saw from the Togekiss video Aura Sphere, 80 damage, 40 energy, an absurdly efficient move, and a clone of Hydro Cannon. Now, Raikou does also get buffed Volt Switch, but for these battles, this trainer is running Thunder Shock, as it's the more flexible move. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and in game number 1, Shadow Raikou off to a decent start, leading into Bastiodon. Opponent safe switches Toedscruel, that's going to be swiftly answered with a Powder Snow Abomasnow, and Abomasnow will no-shield what does not end up being a wrap, but actually ends up being an Acid Spray. Acid Spray, it's going to hit for super effective damage, but still will not allow a farm down. Ideally, Abomasnow would love to pivot out, as it does not want to surrender a farm down to this Bastiodon. Energy Ball is going to connect, looking to pivot out, and in the back is Runerigus. Opponent is going to send out Mudslap Torterra. Torterra will be able to get to these Frenzy Plants every 5 Mudslaps. They no-shield the first Brutal Swing, and will be able to outpace and force a shield, as Frenzy Plant would do monstrous damage, even to the bulky Runerigus. Runerigus gets the Brutal Swing number 2, the Torterra is low, so they're forced to burn a shield, and the decision to save the Abomasnow and pivot into the Runerigus to lure out the final Mudslapper will win the game, as now Abomasnow will crush Torterra the moment they send back in Bastiodon. In comes Shadow Raikou, and Raikou is just gonna outspam the slow Bastiodon. Bastiodon just simply does not have a chance. Raikou already at 2.5 Aura Spheres. Bastiodon simply doesn't have enough shields. They get KO'd by Raikou. In comes Torterra. Torterra will attempt a 1 shield farm down. Aura Sphere is going to be shielded. Torterra does not get the farm down. Spice prevails over the toxic Double Slap team. Down goes Torterra, and that is a good game. Great lead in game number 2, Shadow Raikou into Azumarill. Opponent safe switches into Altaria, and that's going to be answered with the Abomasnow. Abomasnow's Leafage did get buffed this season, but for this particular team, Freezy is clearly using Abomasnow as a counter to Dragon types that could be problematic for Raikou. In this case, obviously, it's a flying type dragon, so Raikou could probably hold its own, but if it was something like, let's say, a Dragonair or a Goodra, then Raikou would have a very tough time. Opponent ends up double shielding in this matchup, which is a bit of a surprise. They're probably going to look to pivot out then, or I guess they just stay in and let themselves get KO'd. I was expecting with a double shield that they would try and pivot out, but no, they do not, and they're going to send in Azumarill. I guess they were just trying to get the Abomasnow as low as possible, because if they're bringing back in the Azu, they don't have a great answer. Energy Ball will land. That does some pretty significant damage. Azumarill banks all the energy. In the back is Annihilape, and Annihilape is not going to have a fun time going up against Runerigus. In comes Runerigus. Runerigus will be hit for super effective damage with a Rage Fist, but Runerigus is very bulky. It can shake off that damage and just look to farm all the way down, exiting with so much energy, going for the Rock Tomb. Opponent knows they lose charge attack priority, so they will just take the free bubble. Rock Tomb lands. Runerigus is going to make another move, this time the Brutal Swing, and that's going to be enough. Shadow Raikou able to force out the Azumarill in the early game, and then the Runerigus Abomasnow backline cleans up later. Bad lead in the next match, leading into Gastrodon. Safe switch into Runerigus is going to be answered with Galarian Weezing. Galarian Weezing definitely more of an anti-meta pick, so a bit of a surprise to see it here, but getting an early Rock Tomb is really nice, as that means Runerigus will not get KO'd by any one move. Runerigus puts up a shield and shields a Sludge Bait. That's really unfortunate. The fact that they threw Sludge means they're guaranteed to have Overheat, and there it is, but due to that Rock Tomb debuff, Overheat will still not knock out. Brutal Swing will land. This will set up a farm down. Runerigus able to win switch. Gastrodon is never going to be shielding anything here. They should just be going for farm and recognizing that their back Pokemon is going to have to try and sweep. So Gastrodon will get a healthy farm down. In comes Abomasnow. In the back is going to be Blastoise. Hydro Cannon will do a lot of damage. Shadow Raikou not known for its bulk, so Raikou will put up the shield, go for the Aura Sphere. Even a neutral Aura Sphere will do a lot of damage. The benefit to not going for Wild Charge, of course, is not lowering the defense. Raikou trying to get to the Aura Sphere. Hydro Cannon is reached. Can Shadow Raikou hang on? Hydro Cannon lands, but it does not KO, and the pacing of Aura Sphere means that Raikou is able to force this final shield. In comes Abomasnow. Abomasnow is going to get to this energy ball, and that's going to be game over for the Blastoise. Down goes Blastoise. Back in comes the Gastrodon, but Gastrodon is stuck throwing Body Slams. Body Slam is going to be doing nothing to the Abomasnow. Abomasnow not worried about that damage whatsoever. Getting to the energy ball. Opponent needed 2 more Body Slams if they wanted the knockout, and they just simply cannot get there, as Abomasnow will take home the win. Shadow Raikou, oh my goodness, back-to-back Mud Slap leads, this time leading into Marowak. Runeriga's safe switch will be answered with Empoleon. Empoleon is one of the worst meta matchups for Abomasnow, so it's honestly pretty nice to lure out Empoleon. Empoleon will be now met with the back-to-back Brutal Swings. The first Brutal Swing will be shielded. Brutal Swing number 2 I don't think will quite knock out, but it will get the opponent quite low. Brutal Swing will be shielded. Opponent will get to go for the Hydro Cannon. Runerigas, tough call to make. Do you really want to Shadow Raikou without shields? Runerigas doubles down, committing all shields, and that means the Glassy Shadow Raikou will not have shields to hide behind in this endgame. Runerigas, unfortunately, is going to get knocked out by the Hydro Cannon. Switch advantage unable to be won. This will set a farm for Shadow Raikou, but Shadow Raikou really does not like being shieldless. In comes Abomasnow. Opponent going to stay in with the Marowak. They're going to switch into Bastiodon. Oh no. And I think this game is going to be a loss, as they have so much energy stored. I really just don't see a path forward in this game. There's so much energy on that Marowak. Abomasnow will go for another energy ball. Abomasnow cannot even save itself here. It's just going to get fully farmed down. In comes Shadow Raikou, and my goodness, that is so unfortunate. In comes Marowak. Marowak going to be met with the Aura Sphere, but I just don't think Aura Sphere will be enough, and it just is not. Oh my goodness, the opponent had the perfect alignment in that game. It was almost enough. Raikou almost able to flip the script, but unfortunately will take the loss. Much better lead for Raikou leading into Empoleon. Opponent safe switches into Torterra, and Torterra is not a good safe swap. Torterra didn't build up to the Stone Edge either. If you're not going to build up, people are not going to shield, so that's a very easy no shield for the Abomasnow. Abomasnow gets a full farm down, exits with a ton of energy, and Energy Ball will inflict a lot of damage onto Empoleon. A bait here from the Abomasnow. Abomasnow will go for the Weather Ball bait that does get no shielded, and now will get to connect with the Energy Ball. Energy Ball into Empoleon will be shielded, at the very least getting one shield down, but having that bait called was really unfortunate. The Raikou does have an energy advantage, which is very helpful. It's going to use its first shield, and now just go straight for the Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere would easily knock out the Empoleon. Empoleon will put up the shield. Metal Sounds, even though they're resisted, are adding up on the Glassy Raikou. Raikou shielding back, all shields down in this matchup. Raikou is going to get the Aura Sphere. Opponent overfarmed, predicting the Raikou would predict the catch, but they don't. They just take the knockout. In the back is Togekiss, and Shadow Raikou on an absolute rampage. Wild Charges raised, one-hit KO onto the Togekiss, and that's a good game. We get same leads in the next match. Shadow Raikou into Empoleon. Opponent safe switches into a Dusknoir, but surprisingly this is a Hex Dusknoir. That means that they're going to have substantially better pacing, but they don't really do any kind of fast move pressure. That means that a Shadow Punch may actually be survivable here by the Runerigas, as normally in this matchup, the Astonishes do so much that a Shadow Punch would KO, but since Hex does such little damage, Runerigas can actually hang on. That's very nice for the Runerigas. So Runerigas will get to force the final shield with Brutal Swing, and I think you're probably just sacrificing the Abomasnow and then saving the final shield for Raikou. In comes Abomasnow, no shielding as Dynamic Punch is going to land. In comes Raikou. Raikou does get the farm down. Raikou has so much energy. What do they have in the back? I guess it did not want to see the Raikou, as they will resign the match. Now, Shadow Raikou may not be the most meta thing around, but my goodness, it is leading to some very fun battles. We hop right into the next match. Raikou, oh no, into Stunfisk. There are two good answers in the back. In comes Runerigas. Opponent stays in with a Stunfisk to chip with a Mud Bomb. So they clearly do not have a good answer to this Pokemon. Runerigas now going to be answered with Corviknight, and with Runerigas being able to spam out Rock Tombs and lower Corviknight's already not high attack stat, then Runerigas should be in a really nice spot. Here the opponent's going to make a massive error. You need to commit to a payback. You can't be fishing for boosts with the Air Cutter. As if you at least build up to the payback, then the Runerigas may have incentive to shield, But if they're just never building up, then Runerigus never has to care. So Runerigus, not worried about Air Cutter whatsoever, just gonna farm down. Opponent panic switches, sending in the Stunfisk, and this is just completely over. They had a great lead, they chipped and then brought in the Corviknight, but their refusal to build up to the payback is what cost them Switch and is going to cost them this game, as Stunfisk is just absolutely useless into the Abomasnow. Abomasnow, Weather Ball, big damage onto that Stunfisk. Stunfisk makes one final charge attack, but the Powder Snow goes through, which means it's game over for that Stunfisk. Opponent now going to send out Empoleon as their final Pokemon, and Raikou is about to go absolutely crazy. In comes a Raikou, and what's the opponent going to do? They saved the Corviknight on very low health, but the Corviknight still doesn't want to take electric-type damage. I guess the opponent can hope to try and catch an Aura Sphere, but even that I don't think will be enough to save them, as Raikou still has a shield to work with, and the opponent predicts that Raikou will overfarm, but it does not. Aura Sphere is reached, and it looks like they have closed their application after that charge attack landed. So now we get to wait 10 seconds for the 1 HP Corviknight to re-hit the field. There it is. It gets Thundershock down, and we get a screenshot as well. Shadow Raikou into Girafarig. Okay, that's a Pokemon that I am not used to seeing, but these confusions are adding up. Raikou very attack weighted, so it's not taking this confusion damage well whatsoever. Raikou gonna be hit with Psychic Fangs, and Raikou will put up a shield. Raikou would love to make one final Aura Sphere. Ooh, transferring the confusion onto the Runerigus. I really like that play. This way, the Raikou preserves the little health that it still has. Opponent's gonna pivot into Drifblim. Drifblim looking for an Astonished farm down, but before it can get there, Runerigus makes the Rock Tomb. Runerigus with the 1 HP survive to get that move as well. Very clutch. And now in comes Abomasnow. Abomasnow going to be immediately debuffed with Icy Wind. I believe the opponent did not build up to the Shadow Ball. This could very well indicate that they have a fast move Pressure Mon in the back, and they're going to try and win with those fast moves. Weather Ball lands, picking up the knockout, and it is fast move pressure in the back. It's going to be Carbink. Carbink not going to get the farm down before the Energy Ball is reached. This is debuffed, but will do a lot. Simul Switch Raikou into Girafarig. Girafarig will immediately get knocked out by the Aura Sphere. Can Raikou hang on here? It's going to be a race. Raikou, 1 HP, gets the Wild Charge. It's only neutral damage. Is it enough? Come on, Raikou. It is. Down goes Carbink. What a win. Oh my goodness. We move to the next game, and unfortunately the Mud Slappers are back out, leading into Gastrodon. Save switch Runerigus, opponent banks a Body Slam, and now they send out Dugong. Dugong will take a lot of damage from Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is going to connect. Unfortunately, Runerigus will get outpaced. Runerigus will not get knocked out by Icy Wind, but it would set up farm down range for the opponent. Runerigus now going to opt for a bait, hoping the opponent will try and fight for a swap and put up a shield, but they do not. They don't care about switch, and now things could get a little bit tricky. Another brutal swing from the Runerigus, opponent still not caring about swap whatsoever, but the good news is with switch advantage 1, this Gastrodon is going to get aligned onto the Abomasnow. Brutal swing into the Gastrodon, not going to do a ton of damage, especially since it is debuffed. The Gastrodon's basically at 100 energy as in comes Abomasnow. Abomasnow never really takes a lot from Body Slam, but after you throw 3 Body Slams, they will actually add up. It's Talonflame in the back, and that's not great for Shadow Raikou. Raikou is just so frail that these Incinerates are melting it. Raikou is going to get one final move. It is going to be the Aura Sphere right before it does get farmed down. Talonflame, oh my goodness, they were over 100 there. They must not have realized that the Raikou got KO, but unfortunately it still won't matter, as the Talonflame can survive the Powder Snow and they have the back-to-back moves. Abomasnow made it as close as it possibly could, but the Talonflame in the back, Incinerate with no resistances on this team, is just incredibly powerful. Hopping into the final match, and it's a bad lead, Raikou into Torterra. Save switch Runerigus, opponent gonna send out Empoleon. We saw the 2s play out, Empoleon versus Runerigus in an earlier matchup, and it went very poorly for the Runerigus. So I like the adjustment here. Play the 0s, try and generate a shield or switch advantage, and then hopefully Abomasnow can sweep with the Empoleon out of the way. Empoleon going to get hit with another brutal swing. This should not knock out, but it will get them very low. Empoleon gets farmed down. 1 HP left on the Runerigus, and it flips switch. In comes Abomasnow. Torterra has farmed up to the Stone Edge, so this will be worth a shield. Torterra, full sense of Stone Edge, that gets shielded, and it appears they have lost the game. I don't know what they had in back. My guess is some kind of flyer that Raikou could handle, so the opponent will resign the match. All in all, Shadow Raikou, it's not a top meta threat by any means. We're in spice / very limited anti-meta territory, but it looks to be a really fun Pokemon. One of my favorite aspects of game design when it comes to these move updates is when they take a very spicy, very frail Pokemon and breathe new life into it by giving it some kind of a fun new charge attack. In this case, giving it an incredibly efficient fighting type Hydro Cannon clone in Aura Sphere. This allows Raikou to actually use Wild Charge as this nuke move, and now it has a bait move because Aura Sphere is 5-4 instead of the straight 5 for Wild Charge. So you give a very frail Pokemon an incredibly efficient attack, you improve its pacing as well, and those are two ways that you can really help a lot of these frail Pokemon that otherwise basically wouldn't ever see any kind of play. We know that as far as the Go Battle League goes, stat product kind of rules the day. If you end up being an extremely bulky mon, you're inherently going to have an advantage over the frail ones. But that's why I like when frail Pokemon end up getting really powerful attacks. They need the help in the Go Battle League. They absolutely do. So giving a Pokemon like Shadow Raikou the ability to suddenly inflict massive damage on a Pokemon like Bastiodon, outpace things by having 10 and then 8 turn pacing alternating instead of just straight 10 with the Wild Charge, and you just make things interesting. And I feel like they did that, especially for a lot of Pokemon this update. Pokemon like Fearow, Raikou. I mean, those are the two that are on the top of my mind because those are 2 videos that I made really recently, but there's a bunch of others as well. I think Galarian Slowking as well got much improved by finally getting a bait move of Psyshock, so I really like this kind of game design. Shadow Raikou, it's not going to win a regional or anything like that, but it's now a competent Pokemon, and if you support it well, you create a good game plan, and you're able to manage your energy and try and put it in the best possible scenarios, getting it an energy or shield advantage when possible, then Shadow Raikou can absolutely bring home wins. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.